Hey guys, what's going on? Troy and Mountain Man Treasure here, and we've got two balded resellers on now. Dominic, the primetime treasure hunter, is joining us tonight. Thanks for coming in, guys. It is it's a crazy day in the eBay world, and we're going to dig into some of that. I want to give folks a chance to filter in. We'll be going for, well, I guess it's 57 minutes now, right about. We'll finish up here in an hour. And there's the lovely Roxanne is joining us as well. She's going to be running the chat for us behind the scenes. So thanks for doing that. Dominic, while we wait like 2 minutes for people to show up, how are your weekend sales?
Weekend sales were good. I posted a picture of it today in my Facebook group, the Facebook Reselling Resource Center. For those you don't know, do a package pickup post, from whatever you sold during the weekend, just so everyone could, kind of show off a little bit and get a little motivation and inspiration. If you were a little low, then you see what other people did and motivate you to, keep working hard throughout the week. And so, to let go out, like 13, 14 or something. I was very happy with how the weekend went. So,
yeah, I did really well. I think we had 29. I was glad I got a head start. I sent some of the Friday out on Friday and got a head start because and it was a weird, it was a microcosm of eBay. We had like a $400 day on Friday, and then Saturday was like $62 or something.
Yeah. And
then same thing yesterday, went up to like 250, $300. And then today, I think it's like I think we've had 2 sales today. So it's just, eBay is just up and down.
Yeah. It's the weirdness of the roller coaster of eBay sometimes, for sure.
Yeah. Do you think that there's going to be a slowdown in general? Every time there's a slow day, people go, oh, it's the summer slowdown. Is that going to be tweaked this year with everything that's going on? It feels like we might avoid a slowdown completely.
I think so. There's always ups and downs, but I think in general, the trend from everything I'm seeing with e-commerce is that the e-commerce platforms, most of them have really done much better actually since the pandemic hit, because so many people have been forced online to look for things, and people have become more accustomed to go to e-commerce sites. Mm-hmm. People who couldn't find things on Amazon, when they were looking for things beyond essentials, and even essentials were sometimes out, they went elsewhere, and it brought people back to eBay, both in terms of buyers, and it brought more sellers in as well, because people were trying to make more money from home, who had lost their jobs and things like that. So, I think things are going to continue to go well. The economic forecast, the projections that I've seen, for example, from eBay's recent financial disclosures, indicate that they're projecting. Of course, these are all estimates and projections, but they're projecting that they're going to continue to see increased revenue growth. Amazon certainly has, and some of the other platforms are as well.
Yeah. Can you? Well, we're about 5 minutes after now. So can you explain to folks, just if they aren't familiar with you, just who you are? And I was going to say what you do, but we only have an hour. So.
Yeah, well, I'm really you, except we're just doing some camera trickery. So you just shave the beard down and we're the same person. So we filmed this, we pre-recorded this to make it look like a live interview. And we both like Mountain Dew, so but yeah,
I've got here. I have to be fueled up.
So yeah, my name's Dominic. Go by the Primetime Treasure Hunter. Name of my eBay business is Primetime Treasure. I resell part-time, but it sometimes feels like full-time because I put so many hours into it. I run a YouTube channel, Primetime Treasure Hunter, in which I talk about things going on in the news. I do treasure hunts. I take people out to estate sale hauls, garage sale hauls, flea market hauls, and I just kind of take you through my day, give you tips along the way. And on days where I'm not doing that sort of stuff, I try to provide different sorts of educational videos. They could be on shipping tips. They could be on things to be on the lookout for. It could be like a deep dive into a certain type of item or class of items, so you learn more about them. So there's almost 700 videos on the channel at this point. Wow. And we just went over 14,000 subscribers yesterday, actually. So I'm happy about that. And so it's a lot of things, a lot of social media. I'm active on Instagram, just started a TikTok, but not doing too much with that. But yeah, part-time reselling. And then the other thing that I do, which someone once told me I should never have told anyone about, but I try to be transparent on my channel, is that I work full-time as a neuropsychologist in a hospital. So, when I'm not doing this, I'm doing patient care type of work.
Are you back at the hospital yet? Or are you with all of this? Are you still...
Believe it or not, I'm not. Even though things are much better in New York and where I am in central New York, we're really doing very well. But there's lots of rules and lots of things that have to be done through infection control to make sure everything's set up properly. And so things are not quite there yet for me to actually be there in person with people. So, it's one of these things where you have to adjust. So I've had to adjust by learning how to do telehealth, which fortunately for me isn't that difficult because I'm setting up the same type of thing. I have a webcam, I have a microphone just like this. I literally sit right here, and this is where I do the evaluation. So I'm doing the interviews, not the actual testings of the patients right now. We're just deferring those for later. So, but I always worry one day I'm gonna, get on with someone and they're gonna say, "Wait a minute, you're that primetime treasure hunter guy."
You're that guy. Yeah. So why? I mean, I think the automatic question then is, you've already got the day job. I know you work on running a medical website. You've got the Facebook group. You've got so much stuff going on. Why do you resell on the side?
Yeah, I do get that question a lot. I understand the question. People think, well, you're all set. You don't need to, do anything else. And I like what I do. It's not that, but, I think, some people, they have another passion in their life. They have something else they've always wanted to do. Since I was young, I've always wanted to have my own business ever since I worked in a convenience store in New Jersey that's still around called Penny Pantry. I still have anyone wonders from my videos, that tobacco sign that's behind me. You can't see it now, but that's where it comes from. It comes from the actual store. And when I was there, I always said, I'd love to just run my own business because, I'm in charge. I get to make the decisions. I take the credit for things that go well, and I'll take the blame for things that go bad. And I've always loved comic books, grew up collecting comic books, love toys. And I love learning. I love history. It's always my favorite subject in school, besides the neuro-based stuff that I do. And I said, you know what? I'd love to just blend my love of these collectibles and vintage items in history with creating a business. And I was fortunate that when I started going to graduate school in South Florida, that eBay had just started up, and we were right near this enormous, it's still there, it's called the Swap Shop in South Florida. And so we would just go around. eBay was an auction site back then, and we just went around, got stuff, and just started listing it. No app or anything like that to check comps. And we made many mistakes, and then we made many purchases that turned out to be great returns on investment, and you just get hooked by those. And as time went by, I started trying to rebuild my comic collection that had sold when I was a kid. And my kids were mad at me that I had sold it when I was younger to get a Sega Genesis. That's a stupid move. So I started trying to rebuild it, and as I was rebuilding it, I started to learn how much money could be made from flipping comics, from people buying collections. So I started doing that in addition to getting back into garage selling again. I had already gone far enough in my career that I accomplished a lot of things I wanted to accomplish. So I was mid-career at that point, and still am, and said, you know what, I want to take on a new challenge. And I'm always chasing after challenges. And so it was try to build up this business, see how that could go. And then it eventually became take on the challenge of creating a Facebook group and a YouTube channel. And so I'm just constantly, it's just me more challenging myself. Life is short, and I want to experience as much as I possibly can, and challenge myself to do things that you traditionally wouldn't think that I would do, so that's a long answer, I guess, to your question.
Yeah. No, as long as you don't have to sleep, you're good to go.
Sleep is definitely a commodity. I always say, it's not that I don't like to sleep. Like I could sleep in if I wanted to, and I would enjoy it, but I'm too motivated, really, honestly. I just feel like, beyond the point where I know I could just wake up and do stuff, I feel like if I'm staying in, there's just too much stuff that I need to get done that I want to do. So I'm very goal focused, very goal oriented, and it just continuously just drives me.
Yeah. Well, and and you mentioned mistakes, and that's something I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about, just because you've been doing this for so long. Um, you've seen it, you've seen other people do it, and I think it's important to point out that we make mistakes. I mean, just because we have a YouTube channel, just
Yeah.
because, we're making mistakes too, but so often it's the highlight reel when you look at Instagram or YouTube or anything like that. And you are, like you said, you want to be transparent when you
Right.
do stuff. We make mistakes all the time. I mean, I made, well, I don't know about all the time, but I made one the other day. It was clearly an old listing because the photo was terrible. And I was selling two vintage emblems for vehicle. It was a Ford emblem, and the first picture, because I was first starting, I didn't know. The main photo was just one emblem. And so when the order came through, I just saw, oh yeah, that emblem, I know where it is. Grabbed it, packed it, sent it off, and then the guy wrote me. Didn't even think about it because I'd listed it a year ago. And the guy wrote me and said, "Hey, I got the emblem. Well, one of them. Where's the other one?" And so I had to look at the listing, and I went, "Oh yeah, there is supposed to be two there."
Yeah.
He was very nice about it. I said, "You know what? I've got it. It didn't get in the package. I will drop it priority tomorrow." He left me positive feedback today, because he obviously got it and he was happy with it. But I mean, I made a mistake last week.
Yeah, proof we're the same person, really, and just tricking everybody on YouTube about it. But yeah, I did the same thing. I sold some. I had listed some cards. There were some collectible cards. One was of a female character called She, and then there was another one of swimsuit models or whatever. So I had sold them, and they had been up for a while. It wasn't even an expensive. It was like $9.99. It wasn't that much. So I saw that it came in. I saw the picture. I looked at it real quick. I went down. I grabbed the swimsuit cards. I put them out, sent them off, and then the guy sends me a message about a week later. He's like, "Hey, listen, I got the swimsuit cards, but where's the one of the comic character She?" And I'm like, "Wait, what do you mean?" He's like, "Did you put it in a separate box?" I'm like, "Wait." I look back. I'm like, "Oh man, he's right."
Yeah.
So that's where you just got to admit, you got to say, "Wow, I screwed up. I forgot. I should have double checked." So I said, "Don't worry, it'll be out in the mail tomorrow." So my fault, my loss on that one. You got to eat the shipping on that. It wasn't much, it's first class, but I just didn't make much on it. So just shipped it out the next day. But these things are going to happen in a business.
Yeah. Do you in that instance, do you think about issuing a partial refund, or hey, come back and buy something at a discount? Or I mean, or do you just kind of read the person to tell, because they could go and leave a negative feedback and there's nothing you can do about it. It's kind of earned at that point because you screwed up.
Yeah, I think you got to sense the interaction and sense how mad the person is. I don't worry about negative feedbacks though, because this is why I do free returns, because you're protected from negative feedback. They could leave one, but it will get cleared once the return is completed. So it's almost like, you think about it, you're buying a way to remove the negative.
Yeah.
The only way you could get one really, and that's in a situation, would be if they didn't return it, just decided to keep it, were mad about it, didn't want to return it, didn't want to bother, and then leave you a negative. There's nothing you could do about that situation unless there's something unfair. But, in this situation, I knew I had the item. I knew I responded really fast. So send it out to you the next day, gauged his reaction. He was like, "Great, no problem." So you got to sense it. If I sense that he's coming back at me and he's saying, "I'm really mad, I'm really upset, this is ridiculous, I needed this for a birthday present, now it's going to come late." If I start hearing that stuff, yeah, I'll extend it out more and say, "Okay, come back next time, $5 off on the store," or something like that. I just eat it to retain the customer.
Yeah. This guy, there was an exclamation point in the initial message, and I thought, okay, so he's into this.
Yeah.
So instead of first class, I said, "You know what, I'll do it priority." That way he understands. I'll say, "I'll drop it off right away tomorrow." And he said, "Hey, okay, let me know when you've dropped it off." And I did that, and he seemed happy. So yeah, I think you're right. It's kind of feeling out where that customer is, because you do want to make them happy.
Yeah, I found that most people are accommodating. If they see you're responding quick and you're able to work with them and their understanding. You're always going to have that one person who's going to be the exception, but
Yeah, I had negative feedback removed. Actually, I did a video on it this morning of a guy that was just upset that it got caught in one of the slowdowns. They were in Michigan and it didn't make it there in time, and he was at the end of the message string, it was, what can you do to make me feel better about this? Meaning, how much money can you give me back for me to go away? Right. And I offered the free return, and shortly thereafter, he left the negative feedback, and the next morning, eBay promptly zapped it for me. So that was kind of nice.
I haven't checked in a while. Are they available now for phone calls, or are they still, you got to write in?
I don't know. I almost always use eBay for Business, just instant messenger, because I've found that they're so much more helpful, and it seems steady. Like they seem to be rowing in the same direction when it comes to eBay rules, and they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, that's true. That's good.
Yeah. So one thing I think Mary mentioned it earlier is shipping mistakes. That seems to be the biggest thing. Like even Joey's in here, he's a mailman, and when I talked with him, I was like, so about shipping, he goes, yeah, that was tough at first too. That's where the most mistakes happen for new sellers, aren't they?
For new sellers, for sure. And I right now consider myself to have a lot of expertise with shipping, but that was not something that did not come without a lot of learning along the way to get there. For example, this is the basic example, but and ironically, it wound up being my most popular video on my channel. It's got like 75,000 views, which if I would have known that ahead of time, I would have made it a little bit longer because it only ran 8 minutes, and I wouldn't have had a stain on my shirt in the video. So I realized, I think it was a Mountain Dew stain, but it was a video about using the priority flat rate padded envelope, and I had not even realized that it had existed or how much money I could save with it for the longest time, for about like a year. And I was continuously just shipping things out by weight that would have fit into weight and geographical distance for things that would have shipped in a padded flat. And when I added up how much money I had lost over the year, even though it was like, $1 here, $2 here, $3 here, whatever, it adds up, man. And so I was just like, wow, that was a big mistake. I'm never going to make that mistake again. And so I try to basically, whenever I learn something like that, I just try to pass along in the videos to other people so that if they're new starting out, they could just kind of pick up from there and they don't have to go through that year of mistake and just kind of learn from that.
Yeah, for sure. It sounds like eBay is back open for business for phone calls. A couple folks saying that you can get into them that way, or they can call you back. Mark says that they'll call you back. So, and there's Richard right there. You can request and have eBay call you, and they do call. So, yeah, that's good that they're getting a little bit back to, well, they're getting back. We're going to dig into what else is going on over there, but just in general, you've got YouTube as well. And I know you've done a video in the past where people have said, well, of course, eBay is going to side with you because you've got a big eBay channel. And I think there's that assumption of you can't be successful.
YouTube channel?
What's that?
You mean a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
They're going to side with me because I have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, and I think there's a perception that because you have a YouTube channel, because you've got a lot of followers on a Facebook page, all of a sudden you've got the bat phone and everything's going to be taken care of. And I don't know that that's necessarily the case. No,
at least it's not for me. I can tell you that much. I mean, I joke with people. I say, listen, if I ever get to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, then I'll redo the video and I'll let you know. I'm open to the idea that things might change at some point. But for me, I call eBay like everybody else. I wait on hold like everybody else. I laugh. I don't even have a concierge connection with them. There's a concierge service with a special number that you could call and get priority treatment and service. I don't even have that, despite all the things that I have done that have helped eBay over the years and, help people who are trying to sell on the forum and stuff. So, I just have not had that. When things have worked out in my favor with eBay, it's because I've persisted with them. I've called back, called to speak to someone else, tried to follow the policies as closely as I could. And, maybe sometimes I got lucky with who I spoke to, but, in general, I've had a pretty good experience.
Have you noticed, we got a question, have you noticed the padded flat rate envelope doesn't stretch as much as it used to? You've been
no, No, but that could that's Marcia.
Yeah.
Thanks, Marcia. Yeah, I have not, but that could be because I'm still using the old padded flat rate envelopes that I had received a long time ago when I ordered in bulk. So I haven't. I meant to order some new ones recently, so if I notice that, I'll let you know. But I haven't seen that. It's possible.
Yeah,
it's possible.
You got the stockpile.
Yeah,
yeah. That's why you built the shed, is to stockpile your padded flat rates.
I actually did move some shipping material in there to get some more room down here in PTHQ. So
yeah. So when we talk about YouTube, I mean, this is not an easy thing. I mean, you're cranking out a lot of content. It's hard.
It is. I said in a video, I recently did a video about, I'd say a month and a half ago, maybe, in which I just kind of laid myself bare to the audience practically. I mean, I just kind of sunk into this chair. I even did the videos called 2 Thumbs Down on my channel and said, have at it. I said, just tell me what you don't like about this channel. What don't you like about me? What don't you like about the way I present myself? What don't you like about what I'm covering, or some aspect of the channel, a mannerism, whatever it is, just let me know. And I said it on my Facebook group too. And I got a ton of responses from it, and it was refreshing to see. And I learned lots of things from it. There were some things that you might assume, but you have to kind of hear it, and you have to be open to hear it and to take it in. That doesn't mean you have to necessarily follow through with every single suggestion that comes in, but you could trial and error some things that come through, and see if that works out for you in terms of making some adjustments. So I would encourage people to do that. You gotta put yourself out there sometimes and just open yourself up to constructive criticism, not trolling, but constructive criticism.
Emily is wondering, do you use the large flat rate box?
I rarely ever use a flat rate box. In fact, I actually just went back to the post office the other day and dropped off a stack of flat rate boxes like this to them. Because normally I find the padded flat rate boxes are just way too expensive in terms of the rate that I'm getting compared to using pirate ship, and I'm just getting a much better rate through them, or FedEx. So I barely ever use it, honestly. So once in a while, but it's really rare.
Yeah, I think pirate ship. Yeah, and then we just got the comment. I think pirate ship makes the flat rate boxes pretty much obsolete. I think that's right. Have you caught your own mistake after an item was sent out and the buyer never noticed or mentioned? What did you do? I can't think of one.
No, I'm pretty careful with that stuff. So it's not like I sent something out and something was missing and found it later or something like that. So if I did, I'd contact them, let them know, and try to get it to them or whatever. But fortunately, that hasn't happened, because when you make a mistake, you tend to be more prone to double checking stuff before it goes out, so you don't make the same mistake again, or at least you should. So I've done a lot of that, and that's fortunately helped. Sometimes I'll even triple check something just to make sure.
Yeah, that's why I don't do the bulk shipping. I do one thing at a time, because I know if I try to do too many things at once, that's when I'll screw things up.
Well, when you say bulk shipping, do you mean that do you actually pack up a box and then put a label on it, and then go to the next thing, pack that up, put a label on it, and so on and so forth?
Sometimes I've started batching a little bit. So like I'll put everything in a bag or bubble or everything, and I'll do that all at once. And then I'll make up all my boxes. And then I'll start boxing, So I kind of batch stuff, but I only print one label out at a time. That way I don't put the wrong label on the wrong box.
So here's what I do. This is a tip I came up with to help me out a lot, because I used to do that. But I realized I was wasting a lot of time. So what I did was, and still do, is, let's say I have 6 items. This is an example that's sold. Bring them all together, and I start putting them in their boxes or their packages. And then I weigh it, and I'll write the weight on the actual envelope or on the box. I'll write the dimensions as well, if that's something that's going to need to be entered. And then I actually write what it is on there. So I'll write, like, let's say Wonder Woman comics, I'll write that on there. And then this way, when I bring it to the area where I got to put all the labels on it, I already know what everything is, so I'm not going to get confused in terms of putting a label on the, on the wrong item. I brought up some boxes the other day. They were identical. Mrs. Primetime, my wife, looked at me. She goes, you didn't know what I did with my system was. She said, did you put how do you know you put the right item in the right box? I flipped it over. I said, I got the name right on it. She's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, there we lost that one. What is one thing you didn't know for an embarrassingly long time as an eBay seller? Emily says she still doesn't have a handle on fees. Emily, on fees, make it easy. eBay takes 10%, PayPal takes 3%. I recognize it's not always, sometimes it's 9.7 or something, and PayPal is actually 2.9 plus 30 cents. I just round it, and I figure 13%. But what is the padded flat rate? Is that yours, Dom, that you didn't?
Yeah, it definitely is, because that was going on for a while. Like I said, over a year. And then when I realized it, I'm like, I cannot believe that I did this for a year and how much money I lost. And it's just one of those things where I say you got to have a short memory and just got to say, all right, well, from now on, I'm not going to make the mistake anymore, and just kind of put it behind you. And there's nothing you could do. You can't cry over spilled Mountain Dew.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Maybe spill Mountain Dew, not spilled milk.
So we're talking, Carol's wanting to know if you XOXO primetime. And then she also mentioned something before she got excited when you said there was a video with you, Bear. I don't know if you caught that, but she got...
I laid it bare. I'm not that kind of bear. I like to leave some things to the imagination, CC. So...
There's Drew is in from Profit Monsters. Drew, thanks for stopping by, man.
What's up, Drew?
I've got another pair of boots up for sale right now. I know you love when I sell cowboy boots, Drew. I've got a pair up right now, size 9.5. I don't know if that's your size, but so we talked about YouTube. We talked about it's a struggle just in the sense of having the content to put out all the time and make sure that it's good content. You don't want to just be cranking something out to crank something out. And so how hard is it to sort of maintain that bar and that level? I mean, not everyone you put out, you're going to look at and go, man, I'm sure glad I did that, but you want to at least be happy with them all.
Yeah, absolutely. So my criteria is that I've got to feel like I'm providing some type of value, some type of nugget to the person who is investing the time into watching me. So whether or not that's something, and usually something educational, I always try to provide educational tips. I try to make sure it's as new as possible. Sometimes I'll repeat something if it hasn't been said in a long time, because you have to recognize there's new people coming on. I also try to provide some entertainment value to people. People who watch my channel know that I have a silly side, and you never know. That's another thing, when to never know. I like it to be surprising that when people come on the channel, they don't know what they're going to see. It could be, you might see Daisy in the beginning. You might see, Skeletor acting out in a skit with the Pink Panther you sent me. So thank you very much. You might see me walking around doing vlogging, for 30 days, which I did recently. So I'm experimenting. I'm always trying new things. It could be a hot take kind of, opinion-based video. It's one of the things with YouTube, Troy, that frustrates me, is that YouTube tries to pin creators into being very formulaic with what they're putting out in terms of content. So, for example, if your channel is very successful at just doing vlog videos, and you start to try to do something that is a non-vlog video, even though that same type of video worked for someone else, they'll look at you in terms of their algorithm and say, that's not really what you do. And they won't promote it as much with people. And you could do that with all types of other videos. So for example, on my channel, YouTube seems to like, and the fans like, when I put out treasure hunting videos. Yet I could put out another video on something that I feel is really interesting, maybe something about comic books, or some other topic, maybe something about postcards, and it just won't get as many views. YouTube just won't put it out, even though someone else could put out that same exact kind of video and will get a lot of drive to it, a lot of promotional views that are brought in. So that's one of the things that is frustrating about it. But I try to ignore that really and just try to put out content that I like and that I think the viewers will like.
Yeah. So I think that loops into Drew's question right there, really, of, do you get discouraged by views on a video? I mean, is that something that you watch, even if, especially like you said, if that's something that, you're really excited about, you put it out there thinking they're going to love it. And it's sort of a big bomb.
Yeah, 100%. In fact, it happens more often than not, really. If you really objectively look at my channel, it really depends how you want to look at it, whether or not you want to consider it successful or not. Like for me, it's fun. I enjoy connecting with the community. I built a lot of relationships that way. Sometimes when I find something in a haul video, people are interested in it, they want it. So it's a way to promote some of your items better. So there's all sorts of things that I've gotten out of it that are good, and also get to teach, and I like doing that, and you get to educate people. But yeah, really, if you objectively look at my channel, it's really not that good in the sense of the views, and in terms of, for how many videos I have up, the number of subscribers and the number of views that I get is really not good. It's actually terrible, to tell you the truth. So, however, what continues to drive me on it is recognizing that this is something that I went into about 2 years ago, not even knowing if this was going to be something that would pay off. And I have to remind myself, even I do this today, what I have thought 2 years ago, that me creating a YouTube channel, having no experience whatsoever, would have 14,000 subscribers on it one day in 2 years. I would have said no. So that's the thing. If you get a little bit of success, sometimes you might start comparing yourself to other people, and you got to bring yourself back and say, wait a minute, look, remember where you started. You started at nothing, and look at where you are right now. So that helps a lot. And the other thing that helps me, Troy, and I know you like this too, is when someone reaches out to you. This is what always keeps me going every time. It's not a super chat. It's not any of that. Although, of course, we like that. But it's when someone says, I really enjoy watching your videos and I learn something from it every time, or, it really helped me in terms of building my business. Carol's a good example of that. So that helps when you have motivated someone, when you've inspired their business. It was Carol, actually, you're flashing her up right there. She actually was inspired by one of the videos that I did talking about replenishables. And Carol literally changed her entire business model based on that video. And she is crushing it on eBay right now because of that. And so that feels good. Obviously, she put in all the work and she made the decision, all that stuff. But to have some kind of impact on people is what drives me and keeps me going.
Yeah. Drew mentioned it. Yeah, you can't compare yourself. Emily Conway, if you haven't subscribed to her, guys, she's actually got a video fairly recently about the comparison game and how dangerous that is, and not to compare yourself. It's a really, really good video. But yeah, I love when people, I've had 3 or 4 people send me a message, say, hey, I saw your video on crock pots about parting out crock pots. I bought this thing for $1 and sold the lid for $20. I mean, it's a small thing, right? But I'm like, you know what? I passed on some knowledge that now people have that a lot of people don't. And so that's a neat thing. And I think I saw Gary and Nikki in here earlier. We've been chatting quite a lot, and Nikki's been great sending me some emails and stuff, helping them learn about auctions. She just sold an inherited wooden fishing lure. It went for over $1,000 at auction. It was unbelievable. And they've got a couple more. And so she was so excited to be able to learn about how that worked and to bring some extra money in. And that's a neat thing. I mean, I really enjoy being able to help people.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's one of the big benefits of doing it. When you feel like you said, helped or inspired someone else, when you feel like you made an impact in somebody's life, that's powerful stuff. And that is something that keeps me motivated, as well as if you're invested into it for this long. I mean, you think about it, 700 videos, the amount of hours that I've put into this, I don't want to give up on it. And, I always think of that image in my head of the person who's he's searching for gold, searching for treasure, and he's just about there. He's right there. And he just gets frustrated, and he just is like, screw it. He turns around, he stops, he walks back, and he didn't even realize that if he just would have kept going a little bit more, it was right behind there. And so, so
I do want to point out we've got Kevin. He might be the original reseller. I'm not sure. He's certainly in that group. If he's not the guy, he's only been doing this for 20 years. If you guys aren't subscribed to him, you're doing YouTube wrong.
Yeah,
so
he's amazing.
Subscribe to Kevin right now. Leave the show, go subscribe. You can come back. We'll still be here. Kevin, thanks for coming in, man. I sure appreciate that. They're doing great work over there. I had his daughter on the show a few weeks ago, and she's phenomenal. And Kevin, that's one of my best videos right now. The hours on that are one of the highest videos behind like a random garage sale video. I think that's number 2 right now, despite all the technical issues that I had that night. So that's really, really cool. I wanted to talk about with you because you just put a video up, Dominic. And this sort of really is breaking this afternoon. It just started happening. And so I haven't even had a chance to fully dig into it yet, but there's some craziness happening at eBay. It seems like something out of The Onion. If people remember,
Yeah.
Is The Onion even still around?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. It's almost unbelievable. Can you explain to people what's going on? Because I think you have a better handle on it than I would.
Yeah, I just put up a video if people want the full detail. I really dive into it. I take you through the press conference from the district attorney over in the Boston area and react to it and just go over things in a lot more detail than we can here. But basically, there were 2 eBay executives as well as 4 employees that worked under them. And the investigation is still ongoing, by the way, because the 2 executives that were arrested at least one was arrested. The other one they're still looking for, as the last time I heard. And they were basically told by people above them who have been not named so far. They're called Executive 1 and Executive 2 in the charging document of cyber stalking and harassing the couple that runs e-commerce bites because of what they perceive to be negative coverage of them. And the coverage really isn't all that negative. And, even if it was, it doesn't justify what was done. We're talking about, this isn't just, calling them names and stuff like that. We're talking about sending bloody pig masks to their home to intimidate them, sending a book about what would happen if there was the death of a spouse, actually sending pornography to their neighbor's house with their name on it, taking out ads on Craigslist about like swinger parties and telling people that they're at their house, this couple's house, and telling people to go over and knock on their door. Literally going as far as going into their garage to physically surveil them, and even going even further to try to look at people that they could frame in case they were caught, because they realized the police were investigating them, to try to pin this on somebody else who had nothing to do with what was going on.
One of them was a former police officer, right?
One of the executives worked as a police officer in the past, had security experience, and was helping out. They actually created false documents if they were to come across the police to kind of justify their presence by these people's homes. They were sending them threatening messages. Then they were actually, the scheme is so elaborate, they actually had one person within this scheme reach out to the couple and pretend that they were on their side to kind of try to gain some favor with eBay and try to tell them, don't worry, we're handling it, to kind of throw their scent off their track or whatever. While all the while they were actually, this person was actually in on the whole thing to take this couple down. And so I did a video on it, and the video not only goes into what happened there, and like James said there, it's insane. It's very, very concerning, Troy, because it goes beyond what happened to this couple. What happened there, it really has implications for you and I, Kevin, anyone else who's watching this who runs a YouTube channel, people who don't even have a YouTube channel. Maybe they run a Facebook group. They might have a TikTok. and maybe they say something negative against eBay. Maybe they have an Instagram account. They say something negative against eBay. There's so much conspiracy stuff that goes on with eBay that is not accurate, that people believe. Some of it's off base. But the problem is now the position eBay put themselves in, because this is so crazy, so stupid, and so criminal if these charges are accurate, that they have set themselves up now that basically whenever anyone says anything about, eBay did this, eBay's doing this, eBay's hiding listings, eBay, it's going to be almost impossible now for eBay to give people any confidence that this stuff is not true. The degree of trust that was shattered by this is just, it's beyond words almost. And so they need to do a lot to get out front and center. I saw they put out a statement tonight, but it didn't quite go far enough. It's going to be beyond words, Troy. They need to do something connecting to the creator community and connecting to the reseller community. We need representation actually within eBay in some way. We need a formal mechanism that we could communicate our concerns to them so that something like this never even comes close to happening again.
Yeah. I read really briefly Jordan Sweetnam's. He put a big post up on Facebook. It was right before the show that I caught it, so
yeah,
I skimmed it. I haven't had a chance to read it, and it felt like he seems like a pretty decent guy, and it felt like he's pretty upset and embarrassed about the whole thing, as he should be. But you're right. I mean, the conspiracy theories. How are we not to believe that eBay is throttling people's accounts?
Right.
There's executives sending boxes of live cockroaches to somebody's house.
Exactly. And so that's the thing. It's like they need to recognize and they need to admit, like, Troy, this doesn't happen in a vacuum. Okay. I have a lot of experience in leadership positions and running things. I've been president of multiple organizations statewide. I've been on, right now I'm on a national board of directors. I run the Facebook group with 18,000 people in. We have to moderate that. And I could tell you, especially from running the group, and people who are here right now are in the group know that the people under you are going to behave in a way that is consistent with the example that's being set by above. And what happened there, it's even according to the district attorney, he said this was not, he wouldn't consider this was the action of rogue employees, right? Because it was so coordinated within eBay at the executive level. That's the thing that kills me about it. This wasn't just a couple of employees who were mad trying to get a promotion. This was at the executive level, and it was ordered from, according to the district attorney, high up, very high up from eBay. So it speaks to, Troy, a culture that is there on some level that created the environment for this to even be allowed to happen. And it's not enough to say, which is what was said by Jordan in that message, which is good that he wrote something, but it's not enough to say, well, you know what? This was just something that happened by people who don't work here anymore. Yeah, they don't work here anymore because they were arrested and they were fired for a crime. What about getting to the underlying substance that contributed to all of this?
Yeah, well, and how many people are left there that didn't necessarily do this,
right?
But knew that it was going on.
Right.
This is bigger than the one or two people doing something at home. I mean, they're using eBay resources to do this stuff, clearly.
And you know what?
It's a big deal.
Troy, whose money paid for the live cockroaches? Was it your promoted listing fees that paid for that? Was it mine?
Yeah, I bought the spider larva that they sent in a box to these people's house.
Spider larva. They actually went out to like a vehicle. They fitted a vehicle, like they did like a practice run, fitting it with GPS tapping material to follow these people around and surveil them. I mean, it's crazy. Like, this involved travel. They traveled out to the area.
Yeah, they're based in California.
eBay's based in California. They're literally going out to Boston. They're going out to Boston because it's in Natick. It's unbelievable. So this all costs money. There's plane fare involved. There's travel involved. Who paid that. Where does a lot of the money come from eBay? It comes from advertising. And this kills me to say this stuff, because while I will be critical of eBay, and I have been critical on my channel of eBay when I deserve it, I do try to give eBay the benefit of the doubt, and I try not to overreact to things before all the evidence and the data comes in. But this was just so over the top and so incredible. And if you go to my video, I linked to it. You can read it. There's a 68-page charging indictment that goes over everything in detail. It's beyond belief. The district attorney said, Troy, that in his career, he has never seen anything like this. In my opinion, by far the biggest scandal to ever rock eBay.
Yeah, and you thought the mafia running the McDonald's Monopoly game was a weird thing, right? Like, what does this do to? I mean, what's the fallout from this? Past, obviously, the people involved, and I guess we should maybe point out that while he's not named, the former CEO left at the same time that this was happening. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess you can draw your own conclusions, and I'm not going to accuse anybody of anything, but. Sure. Those puzzle pieces fit together.
Yeah, this all went down and behind us. Like, it takes time to put together the data to go public with it. You have to, like I said, they create a 68-page, charging document that, you can read. It goes over everything in detail. Takes time to put that together. You got to plan the press conference, all this stuff. And like you, I don't want to accuse anyone of something that they haven't been charged of yet. But it was strange when the CEO, when Devin Wenig left eBay just seemingly out of nowhere. I remember reading those articles. That was in September 2019, and that's when all this happened behind the scenes, when these people left their jobs and stuff because it came out that they were doing this. Was September 2019. And I remember reading the articles. Every article I read at the time when it first came out, Troy, they never mentioned the reason why he left. It wasn't until about a week or more later where an explanation, gosh, say it 3 times, explanation came in that he had a dispute with the board of directors about certain parts of the company that they were thinking of, selling off. And he was at a dispute about that. It seems like an odd reason to just leave the company. So one does wonder, of course, if this had anything to do with it. If it did, it's devastating, because that means, if that happened, that this came from the top. And that is devastating. And I'm sorry, that cannot be fixed by a message the next day or this day that this comes out, from Jordan just saying, hey, we're sorry. This is bad. Sorry about that. And then the next day we're just back to normal. No way. You cannot.
Yeah. Well, and I just wonder what the fallout is going to be in terms of eBay. I mean, it certainly shakes the confidence of sellers. I don't know what it does to buyers. I don't know, they're still going to go, well, that's weird. Hey, I want those pair of booty shorts. I'm going to buy them for sure. Right. I don't know what that does to buyers, but certainly it's going to shake up sellers.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think sellers, but my main concern on this is, yeah, you're right. I mean, it probably won't affect buyers so much. I'm really concerned about the content creating community. That's where I'm mainly concerned, because eBay changes policies all the time. There's things that they do that deserve criticism, and we cannot have a situation where sellers who have YouTube channels or Instagram accounts or podcasts like Pure Hustle Podcast, they cannot live in intimidation that if they say critical things about eBay, that they are gonna basically get taken out. That's what they literally said. They were ordered to take these people out, and according to the district attorney, to basically engage in psychological warfare against them, and not only that, smear them in their community with people who lived around them. Like, it was beyond just like targeting just them. Like, they involved other people, and they were going to frame innocent people. Like, who does that? They're going to frame innocent people who had nothing to do with this and try to get them to take the blame for what happened. So, seriously, like, if if hearing this story, if you're a content creator and you want to come on and do a video that you're upset about an eBay policy change, are you going to think twice about doing it now? A lot of people are. People who are new starting channels are. That's why I say eBay needs to come out and they need to be very clear with the content creating community that this is not something that they are going to stand for, that they are going to welcome constructive criticism, not trolling, but constructive criticism and constructive dialogue.
Well, and honestly, they have to, I don't know if they have to welcome trolling, but they have to allow that as well. I mean, unfortunately, that's just part of it, because at some point, you got to allow the opinions out there. People are free to tune them out. But I think that was the intent, right? I mean, they were going after this one individual couple, but it wasn't just to silence this one individual couple. I mean, this feels like something that was a broader mission.
It could have been because the channel allowed not channel, but the website allowed for commenting, and so people could come in, and if they saw a negative post, like a letter to the editor post, which is where most of the negative articles would come from, people could comment on that, and they probably didn't like the comments. But if you go to eBay for Business's YouTube channel, they turn off comments. You can't even go and comment. Like, it's not like they moderate comments, which is one thing. You cannot leave a comment. Like, they posted my video interview that I did with Christy Demos from the seller side a couple of months ago. They actually posted it on eBay for Business YouTube channel, which I was grateful for. And I just went by to say thanks. I couldn't even leave a thank you.
Yeah.
So someone that I know, for example, he might even watch this at one point, but they only give like a little box to write into them. And so he actually wrote all his comments in a PDF and he sent it over, to the email that was given him, and didn't even get a response back. Like, not even a response, like, gee, thanks, I'll look at it later, something. Like, there needs to be more. It's just, especially after this is really a big black mark, a big stain.
Well, and I guess it does go to, I mean, obviously this is a little bit further than what anybody would imagine, but it does go to show that having a YouTube channel isn't all sunshine and roses. I mean, there's some hazards and frankly some risks that come along with it.
Or any forum, because these people didn't even have a YouTube channel. I mean, they had a website that was an e-commerce blog. But to your point, if you do for example, go watch a Rally Roots video where they do something where they talk about something they're upset about eBay, and they'll say, Rockstar Flipper would say the same thing. I know I'm going to get a call from eBay. I know I'm going to hear from eBay about this. Like, if you have a big enough account and you have some leverage within the community and say things that are critical, they'll call you about it. And I'm not saying they shouldn't call you about it, but that's okay. They want to have a dialogue. They saw something critical. They want to open up communication. Fine. But what happened to this couple cannot stand.
No. And did you say, Dom, that you had a link to the?
Yeah. If you go to my video, go to the description section. The first link goes to the 68-page charging document.
Yeah. And Jane joining us late, and it's a crazy story to recap, but very, very Cliff's Note version is we've got some people from the executive level on down that were targeting a couple that runs an online e-commerce blog that was occasionally critical of eBay and other e-commerce sites. Frankly, eBay wasn't the main focus of this thing. They kind of targeted them. They were cyber stalking them. They were harassing them. They were sending things to their home anonymously. And now there's people probably going to prison for this.
Yeah, right.
That last year were working in glass offices at eBay.
And here's the other thing, Troy. I mentioned this in my video. I just kind of talking, just spontaneously, just thoughts that were coming to my mind, just kind of free flowing as I was doing it. And I said to myself, if this couple, before this came out, if this couple had said to you privately, behind the scenes, hey, Troy, be careful what you say about eBay because they're sending me fly larvae, they're sending me cockroaches, they're sending me, pig masks,
Yeah.
They're breaking into my car and they're tapping it and they're stalking me. They're following me around my neighborhood. They're physically trailing me when I'm driving, which is another thing that happened. Would you have believed that?
No, you'd think they're crazy.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable. And I think you're right. If we find out that the former CEO was actually involved in this, I don't know what happens to eBay at that point, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I said too. The new CEO, he's got to get a handle on this very fast, publicly, within the community. So, I mean, it would have been, if you think about it, if the former CEO was involved in this and he didn't leave when he did, just play a what if game, this would have been even more of a disaster, because then he would have been forced to leave right now. They would have to do the whole search. By him leaving when he did, it at least got somebody else new in place who can now manage this fiasco as it unfolds. If they knew it was going to unfold when it did, that was at least some forward thinking to be able to respond to this. But now how they respond to it is crucial.
Well, my job is to, in my day job, is to try and reach out to people and talk to them. So I'll reach out to eBay and I'll see, I'll see if they're willing to talk. I certainly don't have the pull. I don't have the weight that you and some other folks do, but I have the experience of trying to convince people that don't want to talk to me. So I'll see if we can get anything.
Yeah, I would encourage people who are watching to contact eBay, whether it's eBay for business or eBay help community or whatever, and communicate how disappointed that you are with them, and you want to see them make a public statement that they are going to welcome constructive criticism from all sorts of online, social media platforms, and not ever try to engage in something like this again. Like I said, we need some kind of representation within eBay to communicate some of our needs and our concerns better.
Well, we are running low on time. I want to ask you, you do have a live show coming up on Wednesday, right? Just a couple days?
Yeah, we're doing, I like, this is example of what I was telling earlier. I try to just create all sorts of different ideas. I do a lot of seller support activities in my Facebook group and in my YouTube channel. In the Facebook group, we actually had the 7th straight week in which someone made over $400 for Support That Seller Sunday, where I take one seller out from the group, who's been supportive and helpful member, and put them up and ask everyone to buy from. You've been in that role before, so yeah. You know what it's like. So you even did a video about it. Thank you very much.
I did. That was one of my pretty early videos. It was probably a sample video.
Yeah, that was awesome. I remember watching that. That was good. But so I'm doing something. If you want to come by Wednesday night, 9 o'clock, it's called the Cha-Ching-a-thon. That's what I decided to call it. I like coming up with these names for things. So basically the way it works is that, and I have the full rules in my Facebook group, but I'm going to make the link to it later tonight. Basically, you come on and get to make money. I'm going to start off with somebody who's actually watching right now, and we're going to put up a link to this person's item. And the person has 2 minutes to try to get that item sold. And if that item sells and somebody makes a purchase, well, the person who made the sale gets to put up another item, but the person who made the purchase also gets to put up another item. And then once both of their items are shown, and the links will be in the chat, they get to go at it. Whoever sells it first gets to stay on and take on another challenger and stuff. So it's an experiment. It could be a complete and utter disaster, or it could go really well and we could fine tune it from there. I don't know. I normally have technical problems that happen here and there. So I don't know. We're going to try it out. So come by to the Cha-Ching-a-thon. You might make some money while watching a live show. So where has that ever happened before? I don't know, but
right.
We'll try and see if it works.
And you'll be playing the part of Jerry Lewis in our telethon.
What's that?
I said you'll be playing the part of Jerry Lewis in our telethon.
Yeah. If anyone's wondering, I make no money from this in terms of any of the sales. This isn't like an auction thing where I'm getting commission from it. It's not like that. It's not set up like an auction. I'm literally just doing it to do something fun, do something new, and thank people who. And by the way, that's another thing. Speaking of thanking, there's going to be 2 giveaways on that show at the end. There's limited time to sign up for it in my Facebook group in the announcement section. I'm giving away a Support That Seller Sunday slot. And I'm giving away, if anyone wants to come on my channel to do a thrift battle, I'm doing that. And whoever wins goes on to the next round, the Elite 8 in 2021. Maybe they'll face off against you, Troy. I don't know.
Can I win that spot and then face myself in
no, if you were on before, you can't go on again. So, but it all leads up to a championship and a grand prize that I haven't announced yet. But so there's your big chance. You don't have to be on YouTube if you want to just turn a camera on and do a thrift battle.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it really is. And so remind folks again when that's happening. It's Wednesday. Is it 9 Eastern? Is that right?
Yep, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The giveaway will be at the end of the show. You do have to be there at the show to win the actual giveaway. So, yeah, so we'll see what happens, and hopefully a bunch of people in the show make money along the way.
And in order to register, do they have to go through the Facebook page as well? Or?
Yeah, you have to be a member of the Facebook group, and all you have to do is go to the announcement section, and you have to post a screenshot that shows you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. And then I have ways in which you could get bonus entries by, shouting out the channel, for example, on Instagram or TikTok or Twitter or whatever. You could get up to 3 additional bonus entries if you want to increase your odds.
Right. Well, man, I appreciate you coming on. I know it's been a really long day for you because you went and put that video out today as well.
Yeah,
so I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, go check it out. There's a bunch of people put videos up, but some people did like some little summaries and stuff. But I did a longer video. I've been trying to get away from them and do shorter videos, but believe it or not, ironically, people then ask me, we want longer videos. So if you like longer videos, this is one you should watch, because this is just, it's just crazy. So,
yeah. So when you guys are done here, first go over and watch Joey Bada Bing. He's taking calls tonight. It's just him. And if you want to be on, you can go chat with him. He is starting right about now. So go check out Joey Bada Bing 22. I think Calvin was in here earlier, the Kelly Hustle. He's got a premiere, I think, going in about 30 minutes for a garage sale haul. And that guy has been killing it at garage sales lately. He just bought like a truckload full of old K brand, K product hats for like, I don't know, $2. I didn't spend anything on them. It was like a primetime estate sale receipt. Look, I got a carload. It cost me $13.
That's right.
So go check that stuff out, but then go check out Dom's channel if you haven't. I saw you got at least 1 new subscriber tonight, so we
awesome.
pumped you up 1.
Awesome.
So yeah, go over there and check out Dom's channel and join us on Wednesday because it's going to be a lot of fun. So Dominic, thanks for coming in, man. I sure appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on, and congratulations on 1,000, man.
Hey, well, you gave me the push across that finish line, so now we're just working on building up the watch hours, but we're going to get there.
You will.
Guys, I appreciate you coming in. We're going to end this thing. Have a good night.